which means I have no nipples. No, it's illegal because
I said 5 years old. Just start teaching them.
Also fairly young.
No, it's right.
It is.
Logically,
GoPro.
No, actually,
GoPro.
Ace, actually, Insta360 Ace Pro 2.
What do you look like?
That's so last year.
You think I've got a hero? I've not got a hero.
Be your hero, baby.
So I think we've come to a dud. I think we've turned up at a dud protester because no one appears to be here. There's meant to be a reform meeting in Worksop. But it seems like no one's here. But look at that tree behind me. How good's that? Excuse me. It's raining. So yeah, there's meant to be a meeting about basically safeguarding women and children in sex-based places. Every sort of council building, swimming pools, libraries, everywhere like that. Hospitals, if you ask for a female doctor, you're going to get a female doctor. Making sure that kind of thing goes ahead. And there's supposed to be a counter protest, but it doesn't actually appear that anyone's turned up as of yet. Get my bag out the way.
yeah, don't do that. No falling, not right.
The only agenda that you can get a vision of is online. It'll be online.
I went far.
They seem
No, this is not legal. This is. That's indecent. That's indecent exposure.
Right, well, we're here about a specific meeting, not about immigration, right? Yes, I have. Yes, I have come to immigration because I'm sorry, but if you're going to try and change the fucking law, then we need to be looking at the law on every aspect. Right. No, but still, going. You're talking about toilets and the right to use a toilet. Right. And if a female who goes into the toilet that have still got genitals down there, I'm sorry, not every female is going to feel comfortable with that person being in them toilets. That is the issue here.
Surely if
I'm still not sure where you...
cisgender man wanted to go and into a female toilet, he would just do it. He would just go.
Right, so what about... Right,
And let's not make it easier for them. Let's not make it easier for them.
Okay, one night a year, people dress up. What if men start dressing up as women for Halloween and then start using our toilets? Is that okay? Is that okay? Do we have to agree with
If
this?
they're not hurting people in the toilet, then
You don't get to
we
put
do
your...
not.
No, we say
do
no.
not.
Women say no, but you don't get to override it.
Let's put it this way.
say women because I'm a woman and I don't.
Oh yeah, well, you don't speak for all women.
You don't speak for all women.
No, we don't want it. We don't want it. It's that
The majority of
simple.
women they speak for.
We don't
You're
want
just
it.
a minority of women.
The feminists of back in the day would be ashamed of you guys.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would.
They wanted men
Listen,
out of
far
our
set them
spaces
turning
and
in
you're
the grave.
bringing them back in.
But where do people... Again,
So just third bathroom. Third bathroom is the easiest option.
Yeah.
Third bathroom.
Why would you want to come into a
I'm fine with
place where you're
that.
not
Third bathroom's
welcome?
fine.
So where are we getting this third bathroom from?
You have to get it yourself. That's indecent
To see
exposure.
that. Nobody
No one wants to see
That's
breasts.
indecent
Hang on
exposure,
a minute.
sweetheart. It's indecent
No, it's
exposure.
right.
It is.
No,
It is.
that's logically a female, which means
I have no nipples.
This is illegal because
But you're subjecting me. You're subjecting me to abuse by showing that.
If this is illegal, that should be classed as
Exactly. It is. It is indecent exposure. It is. It is indecent exposure.
It's indecent exposure.
no nipples. I can smell the beer. And I smell. Look, I've got hairy armpits. What? I don't care. I'm more
Do you realise that you're subjecting us to your nudity? That's not okay.
Oh my God.
It's alright. I thought you were just.
No, it's seriously. This is honestly, I really feel sorry for it.
I think we need to just show solidarity to both sides.
Especially towards, we don't want to see naked nudity. That's not okay. Because you're subjecting me to your nudity without my
This is the
consent. That's sexual assault. Yes, it is.
Fucking Trantifa weirdos. This is. Just remember that everywhere.
Try and organise a time to get round the table and have a discussion if anyone would be up for it, because I would like to hear both sides or all sides, but obviously as long as we're being dignified to each other,
That's not dignified.
No,
That's not
I understand that point. I take
I'm
your
always
point.
dignified.
Because I think obviously you felt the need to get to go that far, obviously.
You felt the need to get naked?
Don't worry, I'm not getting in there. That's like
Mental illness
Well,
is getting moved in public. That's bizarre.
When it comes down to anything else, we can't say that because a system is going to be abused, that should be a reason to get rid of that system.
Yeah, it should be a loophole. A loophole to abuse is a loophole to abuse, and we should close it every time.
But then
A man transitioning doesn't change the risk factor of being a man. It doesn't.
marginalising trans people who are some of the most at-risk people in our society. You're not actually fixing
No, I think women are. I think women are the most
gender
at-risk people. I don't think trans people are.
Statistically,
It's
we
women.
have to relate. They
Because
don't.
I'm saying it was something that would make you uncomfortable. I'm trying to make an analogy for you
would
there.
make me uncomfortable.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel uncomfortable when men come into my space. That's
men
what I'm
aren't
saying.
coming into
No, but they
space.
are. That's my
Women are
perception because I don't see them as
space.
women. That's my perception. I don't care what you call you can call yourself a tree. I perceive you as a woman, but I perceive him as a man. And so if he comes into my space, I don't care if he says he's a woman. I perceive him as a man, and so that's a frightening thing for me in my private space. Do you understand?
There's been many cases now where women have gone to hospital. Do you not think for a female doctor and have ended up with a man, and it's for intimate exams? Now, can you imagine how uncomfortable that is, especially for, say, an
Like
abuse?
elderly women as well. Oh my
An
god.
elderly to go in and say, can I have a female doctor because it's an intimate exam, and they send a man out?
Do you not think it's also massively terrifying for a transgender?
But that's their choice. Don't you remember how you said that's their choice?
No,
Yeah.
it's not their choice. It's their choice.
You just said that was their choice 5 minutes
We
ago.
were talking about trans men.
Are trans men and trans women so different?
Well, yeah. If a trans
What's the
man
difference?
is forced to a trans
What's the difference between a transgender woman and a transgender man?
One of them is somebody who has transitioned from presenting as male to presenting as female.
So presenting as. So there is a way to present as a male or female.
Well, that's their own choice.
No, but you said that she's bothered about the bathroom because she has to present more female to be in there. So is there a way to present? This is the thing. You guys have created a gender construct. There's no way to look a man. There's no way to look a woman. A man can wear a dress and have long hair, but they're still a man.
When I say presenting, it's not about how you look, it's about how you identify.
How can you present how you identify?
There are like
How would you present how you identify?
there depends how someone chooses to present.
So
If I
it's not. It's
identify
present
as
not
a
something how you. Is it not how you look then?
I'm a cisgender woman. I identify as a woman.
Right. And how do you present that?
Well, for me, that's how I dress.
But that's
and
how you look.
fine.
It's so right. So it's how you look.
No, because someone could dress.
You just said
in
it
a
wasn't
way-
how you look. You said.
In a way that aligns with traditional
So there is-
gender roles.
so there's a way to
what I'm
present-
saying is a woman could dress as how a traditional gender roles would associate with a man.
Right.
That does not mean that they are a man.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I said.
That's what we're saying.
Before, when now the rhetoric's gone that far.
A transgender woman who is biologically male has to go into a man's bathroom. For example, on that day, she chooses to wear a short dress and high heels. She has her hair up and she's got her makeup done. She's going to be so at risk in that bathroom.
But you said she chose. You just said she chose that. You just said she chose to wear a short skirt. So she accepted
Just
that.
like I would choose to do that as
And
well.
are you going in the men's bathroom?
Is that my
Are you
fault?
going in the men's bathroom?
No, because I don't have to. Because I have the privilege.
Why would you choose to wear a short dress and skirt to go in the men's bathroom though? That's mental. Because obviously you're enhancing the risk for them. Why would you choose that?
Because she identifies as a woman. And
Disabled toilet or third bathroom. A third bathroom is an option. A third bathroom is the best
A
option.
lot of transgender people, I'll refer to as
I prefer to have my own
I
bathroom.
know refer to me.
And I firmly believe you have to I firmly believe you have to have gender dysphoria to be trans.
Yeah,
I firmly believe that.
Otherwise, you are just cosplaying. The whole thing about being transsexual or transgender is that in your brain, you are that dysphoric about the way you look and the body that you are in, that is why you then present and change yourself to look more like the opposite sex, because the dysphoria is that.
Yeah, it's to ease the dysphoria, I imagine.
And that's why it comes into many people that are just going, oh well, I'm trans now, when they're not, and it's infiltrating the whole entire movement. We know we're down to so we can see these people infiltrating that movement. Do you know
Also, a really cool thing where I live is in all the gay clubs there's unisex bathrooms, but they're policed. So we have security in there, and everyone can use any cubicle they want, and just only one person is allowed in a cubicle at a time. That works just fine. But they have to be policed because there are instances where people use loopholes, unfortunately. Because every single person who committed a sexual assault in that bathroom previously was a male.
not a trans person.
A trans, but what is a trans woman if not a biological man? The risk factor doesn't change because they transition. a leopard doesn't change its spots. I'm not saying they've already committed assault. I'm saying when they're born a man, and just because you transition, the risk factor of being a man committing sexual assault doesn't change for me.
But we shouldn't scapegoat all trans people.
We're not scapegoating all trans people at all. Look, I wasn't even angry at this lady here. Well, what she was saying was quite. Some of it was all right, but then she took her top off. That was out of order.
Yeah, there was no.
That was out of order for me. Why do I didn't consent to seeing that.
But people walk around with their tops out all the time.
Women don't.
There've been loads of feminist movements of
There was
women
another one,
like we should.
non-binary.
Well, we could go. That's a whole different conversation now, I think, probably.
Non-binary personally is something I don't believe in. I think it also is an insult to people who are actually trans with the non-binary terms. It completely disintegrates what trans it is.
But
Trans is literally
It is. To me, it's insulting for people with gender dysphoria.
the
Definitely.
term trans gets used as an umbrella term for.
It's been made into that in the last 10 years, though. It wasn't that before.
That's just because language has developed and
And it's
that's
not, language has been twisted. It has been twisted and changed to mean a different thing.
It's not like a bad thing for people to want to step outside of the box.
No, not at all. And listen, like
You know what? No, you're right. It's not a bad thing to push the boundaries and that, but it has to be in a positive and safe way. And for me, this isn't a safe way.
I've dated someone who was non-binary and I did not feel threatened or nothing
That's
was-
one person out of how many?
I know lots of non-binary people. I don't understand, like,
To be fair, I've never heard of a non-binary. Why are we talking about non-binary people? I've never heard of a non-binary person committing an assault ever. I've never heard of one. Have you?
never crime statistic we've looked
I've
at,
never.
it's either the majority.
It's always trans. It's always trans women. It's never. It's.
And then they've been
I think there was 3
prisoners.
trans men total, and there was like hundreds of trans women
Yeah,
committing
on the-
sexual
on
assaults.
the crime board,
That's
yeah.
and that's just. But I'll be honest, I didn't see any non-binary. So
No.
I don't know what that tells you.
And it's an issue, like, surely we should be trying, it's an issue with how people who are born in a male body are socialised
I agree.
to treat women badly. And I think we should be tackling the issue of people being socialised.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But then I agree. I totally agree with you.
Trans people who are really, really struggling. Like, we can do
I agree.
both
We can totally agree there. But again, I will say, like you said, there's something wrong with how men are socialised when they're growing up or something. Because even on that list where it's hundreds of trans women and it's like 3 trans men, there's a pattern there. The only pattern there is that they were born biologically male. And you may be right. It may be with the way they're socialised. I don't think it's an inherent genetic thing in a man that they are just predators. I actually don't. I think it's the way they are brought up and the way
It's environmental as well as-
there's definitely environmental factors there, isn't there?
Yeah, 100%.
But that's why I say the risk factor for me doesn't go away. And I don't really harp.
should that mean that all of these transgender people who want to use this bathroom should be completely excluded?
I would. You know what I would
There's a
say.
bit of a risk.
I've been in the bathroom with my trans friends before, and there's never been a problem. But if there's a risk there.
Sorry.
But there is a risk there because, again, like you said, how they're socialised when they grow up, just because they transition, it doesn't take away that risk factor. And I'm not saying to penalise all trans people, but how do you police it?
It's either 100% you penalise trans people or there's a risk of women being assaulted. And
But
I
why is
would
there no middle?
rather-
Why is there no middle ground?
Because
why
I
isn't
believe
the-
that trans women should be allowed to use the bathroom just as a system.
But they can.
But then how do we weed out? So let's come up with a solution rather than arguing. How do we weed out the men that would use this loophole for a predatory source? How do we weed out those men?
by like tackling the way that men are socialised.
That's years and years.
Yeah, but
That
it's
is
an
years,
issue that's
but-
gonna take years.
Yeah.
And that's why for the time
And this
being we
is
have to
why-
close that loop until that happens because more women can't get assaulted in the bathroom.
I feel like the way of it's happening at the moment, it's just going to mean that people's bodies get more policed and are more like people are put into the specific gender roles because they're so, I don't know, like.
Well, that's because of how far not saying trans people, I'm saying the ideology, it's because of how far the ideology has gone. They have flipped us from one end of girls should like girl things and boys should like boy things, from going from that to we can like anything and it's fine, you just are who you are, to now, if you like the opposite thing,
You
the
are that
opposite
thing.
sex. That's how dramatic.
I also felt that people, like when I was growing up as well, that I don't know, there was this suggestion that girls should like girls things, and then there was this change away from that. But I don't think that the transgender movement has created this switch back in any way at all.
I don't think trans people have made that happen, but I do think there's an ideology that's made that happen.
Yeah, 100%. I don't blame the trans people for it. I blame the ideology and those that have
Which
pushing the
ideology?
idea.
It's gender ideology. It's called gender ideology. I don't think it's individual. I don't think you're sat there like plotting at home. How can I don't think you're doing that. I think you're a normal person that just wants to live your life. I assume.
But why are we? But by saying it's the transgender ideology, you're therefore scapegoating transgender people through that. You're saying that they have reinforced gender norms, which I don't think.
I don't know. I think that's what you're hearing, but I have just said I don't think trans people have pushed that forward.
Okay.
There's certain people, like have you heard of Jennifer Pritzker? Multi-billionaire funding gender ideology classes in all universities and pushing it really, really hard and has been.
Well, it basically
if you're a guy and you like playing with Barbies, then you're a girl, is what it's saying basically. That's the crux of it.
Almost a social.
But that's nothing to do with transgender people. That's more an ideology that's being pushed.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But we can have transgender rights without having this side to it.
What rights?
I would enjoy that, but that's not the case.
Transgender rights.
No, that's to do with men being more aggressive and more violent than women.
But transgender women should still have the right to use the bathroom they want to use because they
I don't have
are
a right
women.
to just pick a bathroom and use it. If I go into a man's bathroom, I'm getting kicked out. Same if a man comes into the woman's bathroom, they're getting kicked out. So why should they have a right to choose?
But you don't want to do it because of your gender identity. That's not the same.
It's not a gender identity. It's what I am. I am a woman. I was born a woman, and I will always be a woman. But I will always be that way. It's not an identity. That is literally my physiology. It's not an identity.
But that's your sex and your gender is different.
My sex.
Your gender identity is.
But that would be a social construct. Why are we adhering to a social construct?
It is a social construct.
And also, I will say.
But that's excluding transgender women.
I see it as giving them something.
That they're separate to women.
They are.
They're not.
They are.
Because they're still women.
No, but they're not biological women. They're societal women, if you want to call it. Psychological women.
Spaces, not gender-based spaces.
But they are gender-based spaces.
Gender and sex is different, as you just said. I'm agreeing with you. Gender and sex is different. But a toilet is not a gender space. It's a sex-based space. It has to be.
In legal terms, it's
why don't we have three then? Because intersex people exist.
Yeah, intersex people are still biologically male or female though.
One or the other.
No,
name me one.
They get assigned.
Well, let's go through this then, because name me one development of sexual disorder that doesn't have a biological sex.
They get assigned a sex at birth. That doesn't mean that
there's no intersex disorder where the person isn't still biologically male or female. There's not one. They're either born with large gamete or small gamete. That means male or female. You're not born with both. There's not one person born with an ovary and a testes and they're functioning.
Only one.
There's no one like that in history.
They may have
Seriously.
two of the organs, but only one organ works.
And then chromosomally, they're either male or female. They're never ever both.
But people are born with different chromosomes. They're not just born with X, Y chromosomes.
No, I know,
but they are. But they're still added on when they.
Please, honestly, when you go.
What I'm trying to say is it's still different.
It's definitely different. It's a disorder, but it's a very unfortunate disorder. But there's not one person with intersex condition that's male and female.
Okay, well, you're not a man. You're not male or female according to the binary ideas of sex. You are
not according to the binary idea of gender.
You're intersex, and you're given a sex at birth. You're assigned a sex.
But biologically, you can only be one or the other.
Yeah, they're not part.
Yeah, but it's down to what gamete you produce, really. So, like I said, you don't produce. No one in history has produced both large gamete and small gamete, sperm and ovum. No one can produce that. Therefore, no one can be male and female. And then chromosomally, again, I suggest you look at the disorders. There's not one person who's both. Imane Khalif's a perfect example. You understand that no one produces both large gamete and small gamete then?
But that doesn't mean that they're a female or male.
Well, producing sperm and producing ovum is a really good sign of being male and female, actually, yeah. Like I produce ovum.
That's if you set that as the...
No, that's what science says.
The binary.
I mean, again, there's no point arguing about it, because it's not even to do with the bathrooms anymore.
No, it's not.
We've gone off topic.
It is to do with the bathrooms, because you're saying that if it's based on sex, why...
I've never heard of an intersex person assaulting anybody. They are really a minority, unlike transgender people.
Like legal routes means that trans people are gonna like face. It's gonna be like a big like domino effect of like trans people being under attack, and like a lot of people like care really deeply about like their rights slowly being stripped away because the floodgates have been opened into them being controlled in that way.
Yeah.
It's like my main fear of
it's snowballing
it
into
going down.
something.
I don't know, do you not think we could, in the same way that you're saying that we come in to protect the trans people around us, like, do you not think it would be possible for us to protect the women and like control those spaces, keep those safe spaces like on a community level, rather than bringing it to the people who are going to use it as an excuse to
I know, it's the thing, it's like there has to be some sort of line, I think. So like, I do think, I just can't change my mind on that. I do think sex-based places need to be kept sex-based, just for safety. At least until, like you said, we've socialised males in a different way, to where they're not aggressive. At least to that point, and then I think we can think about
if there's a trans man, biologically female, who is now under these new laws forced to use a women's only space, for example, a women's bathroom. Surely that is also going to scare a 9-year-old girl if they look like a man.
That's why I vote for a third bathroom. Yeah. That's why I go that, because I do see that problem as well. But again, like I said, for trans men going into men's bathrooms, that's a huge risk factor as well. And actually, I don't know any trans men that use the men's. They all use the women's.
If you use like the benefit system as an analogy for it, like I assume you believe in benefits for people.
To a degree.
And so, obviously people abuse the benefit system.
Yeah, that's why I say to a degree.
But you're not going to cut all benefits.
No, I would cut some.
Abuse it.
No, but I would cut some and draw a line.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying about that, and it's the set. And I like your analogy.
That's still not going to remove benefit fraud. Benefit fraud will still exist while.
No, but you can make efforts. You can make efforts to close the loopholes, though. Do you know what I mean? Someone's always going to fiddle the system.
But
that's
there's
true.
still going to be benefits, yeah. So you still believe that people can claim
I still believe
benefits.
some people do.
Transgender people, transgender women want to use women's only spaces.
Well, this is where I come to
how do you close that loophole?
This is what we need to talk about, though.
To say no.
But you can't.
We're allowed to say no.
But you can't check people's genitalia. You don't know.
No, but it's very obvious
is
when somebody's a man.
But this is where we need. This is why I say third space.
I personally think it's the backlash against transgender people that's created this toxic environment where people have to look.
I think you're right. I think there's a few ruining it for a lot. There's a few people ruining it for a lot of people. I think on both sides of the argument, there's a few people. There's a person who I know where I live who's called, but they say they're a woman, but they make no effort. They said have you heard of boy moders? See, this is another thing that it's something that younger people are doing, and it's called boy moder. So he identifies as a woman, but he'll present as a man on purpose. And for me, I don't get that.
But you've actually one of the people.
I literally don't get it.
But you've just said that gender, like how you present, doesn't matter.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I don't get it.
So,
but if you want to be a woman, would you not make? No, what I'm saying is, if you had gender dysphoria and you feel you're in the wrong body, would you not make efforts to then transition?
Not everyone who's trans has gender dysphoria.
Well,
but then why would you?
Trans.
See, I don't see. That's where we disagree. I don't believe that.
They can still identify as a different gender without being uncomfortable in that own body.
I don't think that's true. I think that's choosing something. That's choosing it. Like, did you say you're non-binary? No, sorry. It was the other person, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I understand that more than someone saying they're a woman but they're not transitioning. Because if you're non-binary, I get how you can feel neither. But to me, it's a feeling, though. The way I perceive it, anyway, in myself.
Yeah, it's a feeling.
Like some days I may feel more masculine. Some days I may feel more feminine.
Yeah.
But that doesn't make me. I don't think I have that experience to the extent that it's dysphoria. Does that make sense? So I imagine it's just a much stronger feeling than that, and you feel like you just feel completely dysphoric. You can't look in the mirror. I imagine it's quite similar to body dysmorphia in that sense, where it's you're just not comfortable, and I think a lot of people experience that. But then if you're not having those feelings, I don't get how you can be transgender, because then you're just choosing something. You're just choosing to be something.
Yeah.
And that's not. I don't get that.
Like she just said, it becomes then a choice, whereas transgender and transsexuals.
I don't believe they have a choice. I think they
literally have that dysphoria.
I agree. They don't have that choice, but it doesn't always come down to body dysphoria. But the dysphoria isn't always the thing that means it's not a choice.
Well, so what then?
You can identify as a woman and still feel comfortable in your body, even if you have a male body.
It can be coming from like a strong positive feeling towards how you feel in yourself, rather than just coming from like.
But that still sounds like a choice.
Yeah, and I think all that we've done now is open the discussion for people to be allowed to say that. I don't think it's being pushed at all in any way through schools.
But so do you believe it should be being discussed at all in schools?
Yeah, I do believe it should be being discussed. Because
at what age would you say that's a good age to start a discussion?
Openly discussing that.
From what age?
From quite young ages, because people can as young as 4 and 5.
Oh, that's insane. I'm sorry. That's fucking crazy.
I wouldn't even teach sexual education to a child.
Your brain's not even developed till you're 25. So if you can't have sex, you can't smoke, you can't drive, you can't drink till you're 18, but you can choose your gender.
No, I don't
That's
think
bizarre,
it's not
man.
about. you can just present it as like this. The world is more open than all the binaries you're putting.
But they're only just.
You can just say to them,
I'm not
most
saying
women
you should
have a vagina, but this isn't always true.
So a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and a 5-year-old will just take that.
You shouldn't be
that's
talking
how it
about
is.
anything vaginas to a 5-year-old. That's weird.
Sexual education to
So your high school, sex education, not primary
Sex education
school.
doesn't kick in until high school, but you can't then start talking about sexuality. That means gay or lesbian or bisexual.
Or straight
And-
things either.
And straight
things.
sex, you can't start talking about sexual things
No,
with children as young as 4 and 5.
Talking
That is
talking about their
sexual
body
things.
isn't talking about sexual things.
You shouldn't be talking to 5-year-olds about their own body. You are not in a position to do that. Teachers don't do that.
I'm not
talking about
saying-
teachers, schools. That's a parent's job.
Yeah.
At
That's what I
5
mean,
years
that's
old.
schools where they
Time to be
discuss
told
the
that they
idea
are
of
perfect the way they are.
LGBT.
Yeah, born perfect the way they are.
Oh yeah, you are wrong, you are this, you are
Kids
that.
5 years
Sorry,
old.
I'm not
Just
saying
start teaching them.
schools are 4 or 5, but also fairly young. You just normalise it. It doesn't need to
It's not
It's not
normal.
a sexual thing.
No. You've got male, female.
they
How
are
do you reproduce a child with a male and a female?
Is it normal to a man wanting to chop his penis off? It's not. That's not normal.
I'm not talking to a child about having gender.
But that's what it leads to. That's what it leads to.
You're
I'm normalising
normalising castration.
I'm not at all.
Of course you
That's what
are.
it leads to.
Of course you are.
Really got the mental capacity.
Of course
If
you are.
my daughter was to tell me at
I'm
5
sorry, I
she
never
was a boy,
thought about
I'd be like, no,
sex.
you're absolutely
I never
perfect the way you
thought
are.
about whether I
I
was.
think that we should discuss gender identity. It
I
can be
don't.
discussed as a completely normal thing, and if we bring children up with it as a normal thing, then it doesn't have to be something that creates this hatred and this
Is it just a personality? Is it just a way you want to
It's
dress?
not a normal thing, is it?
You know, you don't have to
In
chop
the-
your body parts.
Right, okay,
You just said
sorry.
you were okay with transgender people.
I am. I'm
normal?
completely
So
fine
can we
with
not normalise
transgender.
it?
Ruins the whole body for
But okay, so are we going to have transgender lions, transgender dogs?
Thank you for speaking to us, though. And I think we obviously need to speak more about it and come to a middle ground at the very least, because we can't have people in society feeling hated, and we can't have people in society feeling
don't
this.
No, it'd be nice to work together.
We need to work together. You know what the worst thing for the government would be? If everyone was united. That would be the worst thing for the
They don't
government.
want us to be
They don't
united.
want us to do it.
No.
I'm having a very.
That's why I'm.
Do you think that was a waste of time?
A little bit, but
When I was stood there, I was just thinking
Yeah.
to myself, what am I doing here? We're going on about fucking like solar panels.
it's a good job you went in though. Those girls did not like you.
Them two girls.
Yeah,
I know,
they couldn't take you.
Yeah. You know why? Because I say it as it is.
I know.
'Cause it's
You know
so
what it is?
Because you're a man.
We basically came to like sort of a level where it was like, well, we need to work together to find a way to police it that predators can't use this loophole. And for now, whilst we're figuring it out, we have to close the loophole. Do you get it?
Yeah.
It was weird, wasn't it? Apparently no one even in the Reform meeting talked about anything to do with transgender stuff. So we kind of came down, here for nothing. But it was interesting, and we had a really interesting conversation, and I think those two girls understood where we were coming from.
They need to unlearn.
They need to unlearn. They need to unlearn. Someone kicking off.
What's going on over there? What's going on in Worksop?
The workshop homelessness.
I mean, I suppose the important takeaway is actually, we do need to come to we need to come to some sort of solution on the sex-based areas. Because I'm certainly scared. Like, if a big man with a beard comes in the bathroom, I'm definitely scared. I got to shit myself the other day when a security guard just burst into the bathroom. He didn't even knock.
He didn't even knock. He didn't even knock when he looked at your knockers.
So that is goodbye from me. Goodbye from me. And goodbye from thee.
From me.
Goodbye. And goodbye from
Me!